So what's going on in the market? Yeah, this is your November 2022 market update here by the Maryland and Delaware beach area. So stay tuned. Some questions here. Of course, what is going on with prices. I'm going to go over that a little bit. Also actual stat numbers. More importantly, I'm just going to go over what I'm seeing here on the ground as I'm helping clients, buy and sell. So if this is your first time here, I appreciate you coming by. And my name is Rich. I'm your local Maryland, Delaware realtor. Let's hop into this and check it out. Let's start with the interest rate. I'm on the Freddie Mac website here. So most recent update on here is 6.49% for a 30-year fix. So interest rate has gone down, which is good. We're below that 7% mark. More towards the mid-November, that made about 2 reductions on there. So anything is better than 7%. So that's what we're looking at for the interest rate. Let's go over the numbers real quick here. So of course I have Maryland on the left, Delaware on the right. So Maryland, Worcester County. On the Delaware side, we have Sussex County. So days on the market. On the Maryland side, we're looking at 30 days average on the market, which is actually down from October. So 30 days, that's still pretty quick. Delaware, we're looking at 40 days on the market. And that went up just a tad bit from October, from their 37 days. So one thing I really like to look at here is months of inventory, which that's been the big gridlock in this market here, is that there's no inventory, or it's very low, especially in this area, and I think nationwide. But Maryland, we're sitting at 3.2 accumulation, which is actually up from last month at 2.3, which that's a good thing. In Delaware, we're sitting at 3.8, which is also up about a month from the 2.8. So in looking at those from 2021 around this time, we've actually doubled the amount of inventory, which was only sitting about like 1.5 months, which was super low. But we're still low right now. It's slowly getting a little bit more, which I like because it gives buyers more choices. But it's still a seller's market. So let's move on. So this is a big question everybody always asks, is what's going on with pricing. And you can see here towards the bottom on Maryland, our medium sales price was $430,000. So that is up from last month of the $385,000. But if you look at those past few months down there too, there looks like back in September, where medium sales price was $435,000. So it's kind of, when I look at this and what I'm seeing out in the market, it feels like pricing has been more stagnant than anything. So it's not necessarily shooting up, but it does show that it's appreciating. But I feel like when you look at all the numbers here, just in the last quarter so far, prices have been kind of like holding tight. I would say cooling off, just because they haven't been raising like they had been. So units sold 126. Last month there was only 99. So sales have actually gone up. And looking over on the Delaware side, we see the medium sales price is $429,990. That's actually up from last month of the $420, and those last few months too. So, and units sold was 393. So that's definitely up from the 365 from last month. But if you look down here, I believe that is November, October, that's September, 538 units sold in September. So overall, looking at the quarter, that's down a little bit, but it's still not bad. So just like the Maryland side, like I said, things are kind of, especially with pricing, I would say stagnant. So that it's not drastically reducing price, but not overly appreciation either. So it does seem to be holding steady, I would say. Show a quick article that was released out here in November, which this was a big thing here. JP Morgan Chase, one of your biggest banks, they're about to spend $1 billion on hundreds of rental homes across the U.S. Now, in this article, I thought was interesting is, they're making a move on this right now, and there's been a few things that I've looked at. It seems like a lot of people will think that we're at the bottom part of this, you call it a recession, but nobody really knows, But this is interesting. So they're investing billions of dollars into. When I was reading the article, it's actually new builds, so they're actually going to build new single-family homes, which makes sense because inventory is low, and rentals are up, rental demand and long-term and short-term rentals. So probably 99% of the clients that I help in this area, they're looking at a second home or a straight investment, something that they could use themselves possibly, but they also want to rent to produce some cash flow, have it pay for itself. But not everybody, but the rental side, where inflation's up, of course real estate prices are up, rental prices are up too. So this kind of shows, a large bank like that, what they're doing, which I thought was pretty interesting. So let's talk a little bit more just what I'm seeing. So, of course, this time of year, things slow down regardless, every year, around the holidays. But I've noticed a little bit of a spike on interest in properties from buyers. Like I said, you can see by the numbers, inventory has gone up a little bit. So have, days on the market. So I feel like, sellers are a little bit more willing to work with buyers. Where pricing is kind of, stagnant a little bit there too. I think they're a little bit more willing to work with them, especially as days on the market is more than a week on the market or a day. 30 days. Sometimes it feels like a long time now. So I think sellers are realizing that they can't really price the property $30,000, $50,000 over the last comparable house that has sold. But some still are doing that, and they're sitting a little bit longer too until they realize. But it doesn't hurt to try, right? So my opinion, if you're looking to buy right now and you're kind of sitting on the fence, I think it's if you're in your situation is makes it allowable for you, I think it's a good time to buy, mainly because there's less competition. Prices have kind of steadied out here in this market, and I think you could really scoop up something at a good deal. I know that rate has gone down, but it's still on the higher side, 6.5%. But what I've seen too is an option is a lot of lenders are offering a 2-1 buy down, which basically means we could ask the seller to contribute, actually buy down your rate for you. And what that does is if the rate is at 6.5%, it'll buy it down 2 points. So it would be down at 4.5% for your first year. Then it would go up your second year at 5.5%. And then your third year, of course, it would go back to the regular rate that is today of 6.5%. And I guess the idea behind that is to give you some time. It is predicted that rates will continue to go down probably until next year. So when it comes to that point, maybe it takes 2 years to do that, whatever it may be. But if it's worth your while at that time, you can refinance. But I always say you want to make sure that you're okay with where the rate is right now, just in case. So you just got to look at your numbers and what makes sense. So sellers, my opinion, obviously, if it's the right time to cash out for you, equity is still at all-time highs. Especially if you owned before 2019, through 2020. One of the questions that I get, or one of the talks you see, of course, out there in the media, which creates, I think, more fear than anything, because drama and fear creates clicks. But it's always good to know and look at the data, kind of like what we're doing here in this market update. But one question I like to show, I have a good infographic on here. So the question is, what about the market crash, and home prices tanking, which there's some prediction out there, which, there could be a little bit of a, receding home prices. How much? Who knows? It's always, somebody making a prediction, and nobody really knows exactly, but it's always good to look in the past. This is a good infographic here I want to show you. The data from here was pulled from CoreLogic, which is one of the biggest analytics company in the industry here in real estate and mortgages. Also the Balance, Freddie Mac, which we were just looking at their website for the mortgage rates, and mortgage specialists. But this infographic goes over what a recession means to actually home pricing and mortgage rates. And this just shows that just because you're in a recession doesn't always pull down the price of real estate. Actually, the last 6 of them that we've been through, they've actually appreciated. You can see 2020, home prices actually appreciated that year for 6%. 2008 was the biggie, negative almost 20% on that one. That's the actual year that I got my real estate license originally, which was pretty interesting. But you can see 2001 appreciated, 91 it did go down by like 2%, but 81 and 1980, both recessions there that shows appreciation. But the one thing that it does show, the data, that in a recession it does mean falling mortgage rates. So out of all 6 of those, even in home pricing appreciations, mortgage rates have actually gone down in the last 6 recessions. That's one thing when you see headlines, showing, talking about foreclosures, home prices falling and all that. You just need to look at the data. Of course, again, can't really predict exactly what the market's going to do. But hopefully that gave you some good information. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Appreciate you stopping by. And if you've gotten some value from the video, make sure that you click that like button, show the love, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my content that I come out with every week. And of course, until next time, I'll see you soon.